guys, it's me, Zealand here today on Between Innings. Have a different video idea. So I've been wanting to do stuff about controversies in sports and have friends on and argue because there's some things that we have different opinions on, and I think it could make a good video. Right now I've been really busy with football and they've been busy as well. I'm really tired. I have to wake up super early in the morning for football, multiple hours long, every day except the weekends. But I thought this was one I could talk about myself, and it's about suspensions in sports and how I think there's kind of a problem in the lengths of suspensions, the reason that there are suspensions for many different reasons, and how all that should change. So first, that's talking about things like PEDs, performance enhancing drugs. So DeAndre Hopkins, I think, failed a drug test, and they haven't fully proven that he did it. He's still fighting it or whatever, but he got suspended for, I think, the first 6 games of the season due to taking steroids, performance enhancing drugs that make him better, obviously, like needles and stuff. And okay, so keep that in mind. 6 games for taking drugs that make you better. 6 games. Calvin Ridley, a wide receiver for the Atlanta Falcons. So that was DeAndre Hopkins, a receiver for the Arizona Cardinals. Calvin Ridley for the Atlanta Falcons, also a receiver. He was found out to be gambling on NFL games last season. He got suspended for at least this whole entire season. That's what I just think is crazy. Gambling, okay, outside of the NFL, not on the field, whatever. Sure, like, just don't. You know that you can't, and that could hurt your team with the consequences of you being suspended. But it should not be a whole entire 17-game season. 17 games for gambling on his own time with his own money. Like, I don't know if he was gambling on his own team, but even then, if he's not gambling for his team to lose, I would assume, or he's like betting on games not involved in him, then how does that affect him and the team? So 16 games, sorry, 7. I keep forgetting we have 17 games now in the NFL. 17 games for gambling on his own time, possibly not even his own team. And how do we know he was betting on every single game every single week? And DeAndre Hopkins gets 6 games off for taking drugs that make him better. We already had the whole baseball drug thing, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, all these dudes that Alex Rodriguez became so good, it was so obvious at the time that a lot of people used them. Are we really going to go with that football? That they can get away with only missing less than half of the season, 6 games, 17, still get to play 11 games, even though they were taking drugs to make them better, and no, like, sure, some people may be getting away with it, but it's not the star dudes. They're taking drug tests, which is obviously how he failed. He just got caught slipping up. And then there's things like Deshaun Watson, who has, like 30-something cases on him for, I don't know if it's SA, sexual assault, but, like, maybe just, like, misdemeanors with, like, I don't know what you would call that. It's not as much of a legal thing, I think, as it is an NFL thing. The NFL saying that's against our rules and them suspending him for that breaking policy. Because I don't know what actual crime he was committing. Yes, he was, like, flashing females and massage therapists and tons and different times, in like 1 year, but he hasn't been suspended yet, but I think they're thinking about a 1 or 2 season. I say 2 seasons, so things like that are pretty, well, so that's like something that I don't remember what crime that is. I'm sure there falls under something, maybe SA, or like, what is that called? Public indecency or something like that. But it was just weird that, like, also then he might be suspended for 2 seasons, and I'm pretty sure Antonio Brown was only suspended for 1 season when he was charged with rape. I don't think he was never proven guilty, obviously, but like the girl took the charges off, but still, like they can't, like, of course Deshaun Watson, it's obvious that he did all this, unless all these girls are like, oh, we see all these other girls are doing it and we can make a lot of money off this, so what, like, nothing happens to them if they were lying, so why not? Well, they can't like lie directly, but like, you know how there's like dudes who get charged with stuff like rape and sexual assault, like football players, or well, not football. There's like one dude who he was, and it was in high school, and then they didn't prove him guilty, but the case took a while, and no one was gonna draft him with that, like, with that news that looked really bad for the franchise. And then after 3 years, he's proven innocent, but his time's already up. He doesn't have, or no, it happened in college. He was going to be a high draft pick, then now nobody knows about him because now his time's up. He's like mid-20s, and you have to be in the NFL by then. So, and that lady gets that girl gets off scot-free for lying, when I think she should be thrown in jail, honestly, for ruining a dude's career and part of his life. Off topic. Things like that where Deshaun Watson, it's not like a crazy crime. Yeah, it's still really wrong and really bad and horrible. But, like, I just don't know if like Antonio Brown, he only got to spend 1 season, but they might suspend Deshaun for 2. I think it's all just whack. So, honestly, here's what I think. Gambling. 3 to 6 games for gambling. I don't even know why, honestly, there's suspensions for gambling, but if you're going to, I'm going about 3 games. Steroids. I'm going to go with a year, not 2 years, but I'm going to go with 1 season, possibly longer, depending on if it's multiple offenses. Things like SA, where there's proven, there's like, well, I guess he doesn't have to be proven guilty, but just where obviously violates contact, it's pretty obvious he did something, even if he's not guilty on criminal charges. That should be about a year too, I would say, depending on how bad it is. If it's like, oh, he showed a girl his penis, like, eh. But if it's like a Deshaun Watson type thing, a year. And then things like Antonio Brown, I'm going like freaking. I honestly say expelled from the league. Honestly, I just feel like it's such a bad for the NFL. Like, you have to know that everyone has to see that the NFL has a guy still in their league that committed rape or something like that. And they're still in the league, and I think that should honestly, they could just be banned, honestly, from the NFL. Because if you ban them for 3-5 years, by the time they get back, they're not caught up to date anyway, so, I mean, they can work out, but they can't have team practices, they can't, all that. Things like assault. Assault should be, I would say, depending, are they... Well, okay, criminal charge doesn't matter. Assault, and it's proven, if it's pretty bad. If it's like punching a guy, I would say 2 to 3 games. If it's like full on beating up, super bloody, crazy crap, it should be like 8 games, half the season. And then 6 to 8, depends on how legal it gets. If they're charges of going to jail, all that. If they're going to jail, stuff like that, it's going to be longer, but I would say around 6 to 8 games. Things like, I don't know, that's honestly it. But yeah, I just think it's kind of whack how we have people like this, DeAndre Hopkins taking steroids, only going to miss 6 games. We have Calvin Ridley sitting at home on his phone, gambling on other NFL teams a couple times, and he's going to miss a whole entire year of football. That's just my opinion. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any other opinions. But yeah, that's it. Have a good day. Peace.